Hi, everybody. Welcome to ItsKim Live. I'm ItsKim, and this is my show where I talk about pop culture topics that I care about, and I go deep into context because context matters, and I'm a little bit obsessed. And as I'm sure you may have gathered from the intro, things are getting weird, and we're going to talk a bit today about all of it. Please let me know. You see me okay? You hear me okay? Everything's good. Oh my gosh. I am the giraffe. I am the crying giraffe. Space Angels. Thank you guys for being here today. If you've never seen the show before, here's the way the show normally works. Today's going to be a little bit different than normal. It's going to be a bit of a hot mess, but bear with me. First, we usually have our main topic. That's what's in the thumbnail, that's what's in the title. I go over the news. Then we have a halftime where I communicate with my beautiful, beautiful community of Space Angels who are all coming in right now. I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I know you have a lot of options, and it means a lot to me that you've chosen to be here. Um, yeah, exactly, Kyle. Just another manic Monday on a Wednesday. Uh, every day that ends in day right now is crazy. That's basically what's happening. And after the halftime, we have a fun section called What the What, where I look at something from on the internet that is interesting, crazy, fun, sometimes wholesome, sometimes off the wall. It's just a good time because we need that in today's world when things are crappy, and that's kind of what's up with that. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get into today's show. I have a few things I have to announce right off the bat. First of all, thank you so much to General Scott, who has sent me a PayPal already, starting us off strong. Thank you so much, and as always, General Scott, for your support of me and this channel and everything I do. I so appreciate that. um Now, I do have something else I need to announce. We are adding a mod today. So I would really appreciate it if you could all please congratulate Kyle, who is now going to be a moderator here and helping out Linda, and Katie and producer sister, making sure that everything here is good. And Kyle, if you can message for me, yep, there we go. There's the wrench. There's the wrench. You got your hardware. Thank you so much. Um, Kyle reached out to us a while ago and offered to be a mod. We weren't in a position that we were looking for another mod at the time, but honestly, I mean, the message you sent was incredible, and you've been such a awesome part of this community, and we're so happy to have you. And thank you guys so much. We will let you all know if we are looking for more mods. I don't want to have like a whole ton of them type of thing because it's a lot to manage. But I'm really happy that we're at this place. So
And we have been growing a bit in the
yes,
last
exactly.
couple months, so we felt it was time. We always want to make sure we're trying to stay ahead of these things before they become a problem.
Yes,
We don't
yes.
want to leave people to our existing mods drowning
No, no, no,
because
no.
there's too much going on that they can't handle. So we want to make sure we're just a bit ahead of the
Yeah.
curve.
And I know here, to be honest, I
Yeah.
don't think we have a lot of issues
No.
in our chat.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, we have the best community ever, and I will fight for that. Like, it's 100%. But it's, yeah, I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed or anything like that. So that's where we're at. And I do have to say again, thank you so much, General Scott, who just gifted 5 memberships, and Vicky A, who just gifted 10. You guys are incredible. Thank you for your support. It is so felt and appreciated today. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is a tough one for me to do. This is gonna be a tough one, but we are gonna get through it, and we gotta talk. We gotta talk. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm not gonna hold off much longer before I start. So this is a mess. We're in a mess right now, guys. Um, I I have to do our disclaimers right off the top. This stream will include speculation and opinion and should not be taken as fact. Always do your own research. Link to the sources will be in the description. I ran out of time to get them in there before the show today, but they will be in there later on. I will say the main article we're going to be looking at today is from People. Thank you very much for the work that you did, as well as we'll be looking at legal documents that you can access for free on Court Listener. So you can go and check those out as well. Uh, yeah, Lacey's here too. Hi, little one. You gonna lay down? Lay down? Okay. But yes, we're exactly. Sorry, this is the song that doesn't end. And hi, YouTube reviewer. We have tried to ensure that this video is appropriate according to the community guidelines. And viewers, this is going to be a theme today. Please do not send hate to anyone, famous or not. It's not cute. We are all entitled to our opinions, but do not do anything that would cause harm to people. I do not support hate in any form. I also did want to let you guys know right off the bat, I am helping out a lot right now with Popcorn Planet. So I do have my phone open in case something else comes through. So I apologize if I have to duck out for a few seconds or whatever, but I will be back. And Elisa, thank you so much for the 5 gifted membership. That brings us to 20 already. That's incredible. I have to sneeze. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. And Sean Combs is innocent until proven guilty of all crimes and allegations. And he maintains his innocence of some of the crimes alleged, which is what I've been saying because of the Cassie tape. Now he's just saying he's innocent of everything because apparently we didn't see the right sequence of events in the Cassie video, so we don't understand the full context. So therefore, I guess what happened was fine.
And it's a perfectly healthy, normal relationship.
Completely consensually healthy relationship that was toxic at times.
What?
I can't. Okay. So, this is normally where I go into the main story of the day. This is normally where I start talking about something else. We're not going to do that today. We'll get to that. We are going to get to that. But I have, as I often do, written a few things down because I don't want to get my words twisted and a few things that I really want to say. And I hope you guys can hear me out. What's the emoji you guys are using in the chat? Retro Americana, what is that? I'm sorry, he's funny. No, thank you guys.
It's the orange raised eyebrow.
Orange raised eyebrow?
Yeah.
Oh, I got raised eyebrows right now. They are raising to the sky. They are high up. Alrighty. So, I have to address the elephant in the room. How many of you guys have been following the drama that has been unfolding over the past couple of days in the Diddy sphere? Just put a 1 in the chat if you know. Because I want to be clear, this is not going to be a Kim rant of me trashing anybody or accusing anybody of anything. I am just going to be stating how I feel and speaking for myself. And I hope that that's okay with you guys. Over the past few months, I have watched this Diddy story absolutely explode. And I know many of you have as well. It's everywhere. It is completely inescapable right now. And I started reporting on this pretty regularly since Cassie filed her lawsuit in November of last year. I believed her immediately. My reasoning for that was that some of the things that she was saying in that lawsuit were truly disturbing. I felt like you can't make this stuff up. And not only that, but there were a few pieces of the more outrageous claims in her lawsuit that were very quickly essentially confirmed. I think for one thing, like Kid Cudi's car blowing up, then having, I mean, that's a pretty crazy thing to put in a lawsuit, but then we had Kid Cudi's representative come out and be like, hey, yeah, that happened. And if someone is capable of blowing up a car out of jealousy, they're capable of a lot of things. And as time has gone on, we have seen one claim after another from Cassie be validated. And so over the past year, I've done my best to stay on top of what is going on, to elevate the voices of victims. And I've poured myself into learning as much as I possibly could about the events that have brought us to today, because we did not get here overnight. I firmly believe that where we are is a reflection of like 30 years of insanity. Producer sister,
Mm-hmm.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we are not here just because of Cassie. This is
No.
bigger than that. And this, I think that's the big thing. We
It's a
have to
big piece.
It's a piece, but that's the thing. It's a piece. This is huge. This is massive. And even me studying this like I'm in college again, I'm still learning things every day. I focus a lot on intent and context. That's incredibly important to me. What is the motivation? Some of you who have seen me on Popcorn Uncensored and certain interviews I've been a part of have seen me talk about that with an individual, that the context and the reasoning behind people's behavior matters. The expression, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, is absolutely true, but I also believe that the road to hell is paved with bad intention. And good intention counts for something. And metaphorically, I think the best way I can put this, and producer sister brought this up to me this morning, so I'm going to give her credit for this. In the Wicked season that we are currently in, any of my musical theater fans out there, no good deed goes unpunished. And sometimes things are not always as they seem. Some people get branded a wicked witch and don't deserve it. So there's been so much discussion lately about intent with all of this drama, and I do want to speak on that. Now, I can only speak for myself, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys and tell you all where I'm at. When it comes to intent, motivation, why I'm doing something, I have a few reasons that I do what I do. The first is that I hope that people who come here feel a bit better when they leave than when they came in. And that's because for me, when I saw Popcorn for the first time, I'd never followed live streams before in my life. I'd never been into the YouTube sphere of, daily reporting. Like I'd watch video essays and things like that, but nothing like day to day type thing. First time I saw Popcorn, I was in bed. I was grieving because I had just lost one of my dogs, and I'm sure those of you who have been here for a while know how much I love my dogs, and I take taking care of them very seriously. I was having a lot of therapy, more than normal, to try to get me through it. I was an absolute wreck. But I turned on the TV. And I went to my YouTube app because I have one of the Google Chrome things, or what's it called, producer sister, the Google thing,
Chromecast.
the Chromecast, yeah,
Yeah.
the Chromecast. So I went into my app, and I was watching at that time. I knew there was stuff going on with Free Britney, so I looked up Free Britney hearing, what's going on outside the courthouse, and I randomly got on this channel with this dude in his garage with a bunch of action figures behind him, talking to a fancy lawyer outside of a courthouse that also talked to, I believe, BJ that day, that surprise witness. And I was like, this is so cool. What is this? And I started to watch it religiously. It gave me something to look forward to when I really didn't feel like I had anything. Because I was on disability. I was essentially on welfare. I was grieving. I was drowning in my own trauma and struggling to deal with my own diagnosis that stemmed from CSA. And what I found through, yes, hi BJ, literally, like you, like I, girl, now I'm gonna get emotional. We're gonna get through this. Okay. Whew. Okay, everybody, please welcome that surprise witness to the chat. Please give some love her way. What I found through Popcorn starting to watch it was not only Popcorn, but other creators who have a passion for sticking up for victims and trying to do the right thing. Like, yes, there is a side of this that is business, but at the end of the day, we've got to look at ourselves in the mirror. And the best way to do that is to stand in truth. And that passion, that dedication gave me a fire back that I had not had in a long time. It inspired me and ultimately was what enabled me to be in the place I am today. And it also led me to my second reason, which is that I wanted to create a place where people felt that they could come and be accepted and be validated as they were. You know, as long as you are in this chat and you are extending kindness and you are being respectful to each other, you are welcome here, right? And I know that people in this chat are full of love and we all just want to be here for each other because life freaking sucks. And that's all that I wanted to do. Now, the third reason is selfish. And if you'd stay with me on this one, and I'm going to do my best to get through this, I want to be the grown up that I needed. I want to be the person that would have looked at little me going through what I was going through and would have said, I believe you. Let's get you out of this. And it's time for you to heal. Because as much as I had adults in my life that loved me, they didn't see it. And I faced a lot of what happened to me alone. And when I do this, I tell that little wounded girl inside of me that I am listening and I am doing something. And that is 100% consistent with what the recommended treatment is for my disorder. That is the result of my CSA. For that reason, with all of the drama that has been going on, it's been difficult. And I've always told you guys that if it's stressing me out, that I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you guys what's going on, and I'm gonna tell you right now that this is affecting me physically. I was not well on Monday due to a lot of the stress that has been going on, and my body is sending me clear signs that it's hurting. And I want to be clear about something when we talk about trauma. It is so common in trauma for memories to be scrambled, for there to be snippets of information. It's incredibly frustrating and awful. And I have spent years pulling apart this web and attempting to make sense of everything. I think I'm pretty much there. I always think that, and then I got hit over the head with something, and then it's like, oh, there's a whole new chapter. Fantastic. But I'm just saying that, like, there's a lot. But what is consistent with trauma is how much the body, in my opinion, stores it. And I know that this is not a new concept for a lot of people that struggle with trauma. There is physical scars that are left. And those cause other symptoms, and it's difficult. So when we talk about people coming forward with claims that are Very disturbing, considering the scope of this investigation and the things that we've heard. I have to, in good conscience, listen to everything and consider the possibility of everything. But I also have to look at facts and I have to look at reality. There's a lot of ethical questions floating around right now surrounding all of this, and there's also legal ones. But ultimately, my fear is that this circus could affect the federal process and prevent victims from getting justice, which would mean that Diddy, who I personally believe is a monster, could walk free. And I don't want to see that happen. The problem I see right now is figuring out what the truth is. And I believe right now some of those answers to those questions need to come out. When there's contradicting information, the record needs to be set straight. But it's a very difficult thing to maneuver and to do. And it kind of feels like being in the center of a tornado, pure chaos. Um, but in that chaos, I do have faith in us as creators, because I know that we're doing our best, you know, and if we have information that can help expose truth, I do feel like it is our responsibility to expose it in the most responsible way that we can. Um, I think it's kind of awesome that BJ was in here because she had a great live yesterday after the popcorn stream, and Andy popped in, and it ended up being an incredible panel of creators that I respect and the few that I've been blessed enough to be able to interact with. People who have shown me over and over and over that they are trying to do the right thing in a time where sometimes that can be hard to decipher, but also just the dedication to these stories is insane. Like honestly, there's nothing like it, and they're amazing. With all that said, I don't support bullying or hate of any kind. I did want to share with you guys yesterday. I did get to speak with Natanya Rubin, the woman who survived Diddy, and Andy and I interviewed her. You guys will probably see that in the coming days. Um, and it was amazing. And then after the interview, we talked for a bit, you know, like off recording. And it was, she's incredible. She is incredible. She has an energy about her that um, I haven't seen in a lot of people. That is just, it is remarkable. And I don't believe that it's something that can be faked. Her authentic spirit is infectious and amazing. And so, you know, we both, I believe, have like different denominations. We have, you know, different faiths and whatever. But I was reminded of a verse, and at the risk of sounding preachy, stay with me. It's if a house is divided against itself, the house cannot stand. So I'm going to do my best to focus on the facts, on legal documents. I do not support hate. I do not support bullying. That is noise. And the reality is, Diddy is looking at a possibility of bail. That puts victims, all of his victims, at risk, more so than they already are. So we're going to go through that now and start looking at that stuff. But I am doing my best to stay on top of everything and to take care of myself. And I did want to apologize that there wasn't a stream on Monday. I'm doing what I need to do to take care of myself. I do want to check in with the chat and see how you guys are doing before we move into that topic. Um, is everything okay in the chat?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm just double checking. I'm trying to get an idea of what the vibe is in the chat with you guys right now because I really haven't been paying attention. And I know that these types of conversations, people sometimes they share things, and I don't want to miss anything important. Um, Danny just said, no, you are muddying the waters. The civil cases do not affect the criminal case. Well, not yet, unless a super indictment comes. Danny, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that front. And I do so because one of the civil suits that we are talking about right now comes from the same law firm that represents Cassie. There are connections. And the other thing is, it matters when it comes to jury selection. This jury is going to be crucial. And we have already read in court documents that Diddy is saying things and writing things such as, we only need one, and that he's trying to do these social media campaigns to influence a jury, all those types of things. It is all absolutely relevant. That's my opinion. And you're free to disagree with me, but I'm just saying, like, that's where I'm coming from. That's my concern. Producer sister, is there anything you want to add before I keep going?
I think you pretty much summed it up. I think it's so tricky and it's such a delicate line that you're trying to balance, making sure that you're reporting the truth and you're not trying to discredit anyone.
Yeah.
But it is so tricky, especially when there are conflicting narratives.
Yeah.
Because not every side can be right. Not every side can be telling the truth when there are these very distinct things being said that both can't be true at the same time.
And I think it's hard too, because it's like when we do talk about the trauma aspect of things, like, I don't want to get too much into my stuff because, to be blunt, some of that stuff is private.
Yeah.
I don't owe anybody, my whole story or anything like that. But there have been pieces where I've had a memory and I think that it's something. And then over time, I'm like, something about that doesn't make sense. And then all of a sudden, something will click. And it's like revealed, and then I kind of go through the sequence of events, and I speak with my therapist, and I speak with my medical team, and I go, okay, does this line up? Does this line up with me physically? Does this line up, like, I've had this issue with this area in my body, is that connected? All those types of things, right? And that can take time to figure out, and it also takes a lot of professional help to figure out too. So I want to see everybody that is struggling right now get the help that they need. And I don't say that in like a, you people need to get help. I say it as in, like, seriously, this is a really intense thing to go through in any capacity. And, it's been years for me. And I still struggle, right? Like, it is what it is.
I think something we've talked about before on this channel, I'm pretty sure, is the whole filing cabinet analogy. That
from my therapist. It's
as
fantastic.
you're healing, your brain opens up different drawers in the filing cabinet because it's ready to go through it and to clean it up and to make sense of it. And there are different memories and pieces in each drawer of that filing cabinet. And as your brain feels safe enough and healthy enough to go into them, you're unlocking different pieces that you may not have remembered.
Yeah.
And it takes time to piece them all together. And you never really know when you've opened the last drawer. So when we're saying, like, you need to get help, it's talking those things through and getting someone who professionally knows what they're doing.
Yeah, that is trauma informed.
Yeah,
trauma informed therapy as well. Because I will say, I hate to interrupt you, but like one thing I hear all the time is people be like, oh, just go get some cognitive behavioral therapy, and you will be fine. That can actually be detrimental to trauma victims. It can be devastating.
Yeah.
People they're not educated on what is actually needed to help people that are in those positions. And it comes from a place where people are trying to be helpful and they're trying to say the right thing, but you've got to get the right people. And unfortunately, the right people, they're not cheap.
No.
They're not cheap. Like, I'm easily 5 figures at this
Oh
point.
yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Insane. And it's so difficult because so many of these people, and this is always this is just kind of like a side thing I just kind of want to rant about. It bothers me so much as someone that went through the disability system in my province, and I'm looking at you, Doug Ford. I don't care. I don't care. As one of the people that was on ODSP and went and got a job, like, I'm sorry. Please sit down for a moment and listen to me. There is this expectation that people that need mental health help need to figure out how to pay for it themselves and go and do the treatment. Well, if you are in a state of complete, like, wreck, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you're just a mess.
Brokenness.
Bro, you cannot hold a job. You can't.
No.
Part of my symptoms were literally like I couldn't stand. I couldn't carry my own weight. And you wanted me to go and get a job at McDonald's? You crazy? Are you crazy? Because of something that was done to me that I had no fault in, that I couldn't change. And then they go, no, you got to go find the 5 figures and do it yourself. And you know what? If you don't have the resources, maybe go talk to a family member. Do you know how many people with my disorder don't have a family? How many people with my disorder, the reason they have this disorder is because their family trafficked them? Sure, they're going to go back to the person that trafficked them and get the money to go get therapy. You are out of your mind. Out of your mind. People end up in these positions that are just unthinkable. And until you have been there or until you know someone who's been there, you cannot understand it and you don't see it. And you tell these people every day that because something was done to them and their brain did the human thing that it did, that they are not worthy of being treated with basic human decency and the medical help that they need. Because my condition is a medical condition. It is in my brain. It is visible in scans. I have muscle problems. I have all of those types of things. This is real. And it just really bothers me when, like, when people just are so out of touch with this. And that's why I can't judge people. Because I know what it's like to be in that confusing pit. And it sucks. And I was one of the lucky ones that was able to get help. But people that go through this stuff should be able to get the help that they need. It shouldn't be something they have to beg. So that's just my opinion. Sorry. And it's like, and I see too, like, people make suggestions of like things that you can do to try to help and try to change things and how to manage it. But it's like, it's so much more complicated.
Yeah.
It's so much more complicated. I'm saying, do we have some trolls in the chats? I saw a comment that we had some trolls in the chat. Do we? Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mods, do as you see fit with trolls. That's fine. That's fine. This is supposed to be a safe place, and I intend to keep it that way.
I think the long and short of it is there is definite trauma. And we want people to get the help that they need to help with that trauma. And that's not meant in any way as condescending or just flippant. It is said with concern and love. And but at the same time, we need to find out what is the truth.
Yeah. So we're going to take a look at what's going on right now, getting you guys back up to speed in case you haven't been following the updates, the legal updates. We are currently waiting to find out whether or not the jail is going to grant Diddy bail. Now, I've spoken with a few legal experts, lawyers, etc., and particularly John Witherspoon, who has been incredible over the past couple of weeks. And he hypothesized, and I'm kind of inclined to believe him at this point, is that the court system may take a half day today in anticipation for Thanksgiving. And then there's, government employees are off on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the weekend, and then back Monday. As we are now at 3 o'clock, 3:12 Eastern Standard Time, which is the same time zone as New York City, we do not have a decision on bail. I have not seen the docket updated. I have multiple services that let me know if anything hits the docket.
I've got Inner City Press open.
Yeah, we're watching. But my guess is if we haven't heard it today, we're likely not. By this point, we're likely not going to hear it, which means we're not going to hear anything till Monday, would be my guess. Now, that's not confirmed. I'm just saying. Because here's the thing, too. We have had times where I'm like, okay, court's closed because it's midnight Eastern Standard Time. And then there is the docket update. So I don't know. But I'm just saying right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear anything until Monday. Which is annoying. But let's get up to speed with where we are at. So I'm going to go back to my I have too many windows open. Too many windows. Too many windows. How many people know too many cooks? Too many cooks. Oh my goodness. You know what? I was honestly debating this morning. Like I had I'm no F's left to give. And then I had you look like you could use an effing lamp. And I kind of debated on doing like how do I word this? Like, I've no more lamps to give. My lamps have runneth dry. I want to go lamp shopping, but there's no lamps left to buy. It's like this could be a whole thing.
You can do a whole mashup.
I'm over my lamp budget, and I'm now in lamping debt. All right, so Diddy. This is the lovely article from People. Thank you very much to Liam and Elizabeth for your work on this. This came out over the weekend, summing up what happened at the hearing on Friday. So, if Diddy gets bail, he's going to be living in a Manhattan Upper East Side apartment. And if released on bail, and the decision was expected this week. But as I just explained, I wouldn't be surprised if it is next week. So Sean Diddy Combs would live in a Manhattan Upper East Side apartment if released. His attorney said at a bail hearing on Friday, November the 21st. A judge will decide next week if the music mogul will be granted bail. Combs, 55, entered the Manhattan federal courtroom through a side door dressed in a khaki jail-issued outfit. He smiled and waved towards his family in the second row, including his daughters. Okay, following a heated 2-hour hearing. It got spicy. At points, it did. The judge instructed both the U.S. Attorney's Office and the defense team to provide more clarification on how Combs had been communicating from behind bars in the 2 months since his arrest on ST charges. During the hearing, a defense attorney told the judge that Combs would live in a 3-bedroom apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. The judge also requested details from both sides on the specific forms of communication Combs is permitted to use by the Bureau of Prisons. The parties have until 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 25th to submit the requested information. So that was Monday. They had till Monday at noon. Combs has been in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn since his September indictment. Of all of the things that he's been accused of, he has pleaded not guilty. Previously, the 2 judges had denied Combs bail, citing concerns of potential witness tampering, and since then, the prosecutors have accused Combs of attempting to do just that, even from behind bars. The prosecution's filing, Combs is accused of using other inmates' phone access cards in prison to call different people, including his sons, Prosecutors allege that Combs has made a relentless effort to contact potential witnesses, including victims of his A, who could provide powerful testimony against him. And the prosecution's filing came in response to a bail request from the defense, which called the government's case thin and proposed a strict release conditions and a $50 million bail for the Bad Boy Records founder. Okay. So the Friday hearing was the second time Combs has appeared in court this week. Or last week. Yes, because on Tuesday, the judge ruled that evidence obtained by the prosecution during a sweep of Combs's jail cell would not be considered in the bail hearing, but Combs's attorneys called the Bureau of Prison Sweep outrageous government conduct and a due process violation. Prosecutors countered by saying that the sweep was planned prior to Combs's arrest, was unrelated to the case, and did not target any specific inmates. Now, I do believe that the sweep was scheduled previously, and it probably wasn't because of him. There's a lot of issues at MDC, guys. It's a very, very controversial prison. There's a lot of questions about how it's being run and a lot of criticism. So clearly, and I mean, if they're having issues where pew pews or other, stabby stab things are coming in, I have to use code words. I'm sorry. I know how ridiculous it sounds. They have to do what they have to do to try to keep the inmates safe because we want to make sure that these people are safe so that they can stand trial. Period. But what was interesting was at that hearing on Tuesday, the judge kind of called out that the supposed evidence that the government took, the due process violation, all that stuff, outrageous government conduct, it was all garbage. It was ridiculous. The math was not mathing. The judge was like, don't represent things to me again. And that was quite a moment. So the judge literally had to call it, like, Diddy's team called for an emergency hearing over this. And then the judge was like, you done messed up. Don't waste my time, essentially. So at this point, I think the judge is probably getting really tired of this stuff. It's not looking good. And the filings have continued. So I've got more stuff to show ya. Let me see here. Let me get this all up and running, and you guys can see the newer legal docs that we've had in the past couple of days. There have been multiple legal documentations released. Not all of them are particularly what I would consider to be super duper important at this moment. So we're not going to get super heavy into all of them. But I'm going to start with document 86, which again, if you want to go on Court Listener and see it for yourself, there's the case number, there's the document number, when it was filed, all this stuff. So this was the government's response to clarifying what communication Diddy had been using, what he should or should not be doing, etc. This was what the judge asked for at the Friday hearing, and this was submitted around noontime on Monday. Now, Diddy's team did the same. I personally found theirs to be very repetitive and nothing overly that stood out to me. But what I did see in this one was they went back over some of their arguments. They explained them of like why they believe that he has been tampering, all those types of things. But this was the moment that I think was the most important. There was some controversy about him using an app called Contact Me ASAP, that he shouldn't have been using it. And there was kind of this dispute amongst the attorneys that it was allowed in the prison system and then it wasn't, and it was monitored, but then it wasn't. But regardless, one of Diddy's lawyers made a written declaration, I believe under oath, saying that she had told him, don't listen, like don't use Contact Me ASAP. We told him on the 16th, and he's not going to do it anymore. He hasn't done it anymore. Prosecution wrote this. Even after defense counsel represented the defendant had stopped using Contact Me ASAP, he has continued to use Contact Me ASAP account of at least one other inmate, sending messages to a family member as recently as November 24th. And there's the quote from the lawyer as well, referenced. With respect to Contact Me ASAP, he stopped using it on November 16th. So he violated again on Sunday. He couldn't even go a couple of days. It's crazy. And these are the people trying to be like, yeah, we got him under control. We can keep him under control. You can let us, let him out on bail. Let him out on bail. It's fine. Clearly it's not. Clearly it's not. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, what really got me going, what I couldn't stop laughing at, was this. This was essentially the response after the government filed their letter reestablishing their arguments and also being like, hey, he like violated the rules again on Thursday, or on Sunday, Your Honor. You should probably know that. This is Diddy's team. There's Alexander Shapiro, it's one of his attorneys, and then Mark and Tenny. We respectfully submit this letter on behalf of defendant Sean Combs in response to the government's letter submitted today. Document on the docket 86. The government's 13-page letter rehashes old arguments, adds new arguments, and seeks to supplement the factual record even though the parties have already provided full briefing and the court held a lengthy bail hearing on Friday. The court asked parties for short letters on a very specific legal issue, and Mr. Combs' letter responded to the court's request and only addressed that issue. Mr. Combs objects to the government's submission to the extent it goes beyond responding to the court's specific question and requests that the court not consider any new or repetitive information in the government's letter. So to me, when I read this, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal expert, but this is what I hear. The government submitted a really long letter and you said it should be short. And they also put in some new information that makes our client look bad. But because it wasn't directly asked from them, you should ignore it. Don't pay attention to the fact that our client violated the rules again and is actively taking part in obstruction because their letter was too long. They went over the word limit.
I'm going full like Wicked Wizard of Oz reference. Pay no attention
to the man behind the curtain. Like,
curtain.
What is that?
Don't pay attention to the the filing.
What is that?
I'm sorry. This is new information because your client violated the rules again after the hearing.
Chat, do you understand what I'm saying with this? Do you get what I mean? This is insane to me. And this is like this honestly looks like the most boring little legal document ever, but I just was screaming. I'm like, stop it. Stop it.
That's their rebuttal against this is it's too long. You shouldn't read it.
Oh my gosh. Like, it was funny. It was funny.
It's their TLDR version.
Yeah, that's been yeah. Okay, so then we got this document yesterday. Luby just said, I love when you talk like a kid. I can't imagine that's how Diddy's talking right now. Well, for real, it's like, it honestly just feels like they wrote too much, teacher. No. Gosh. All right. I feel like if he is engaging in obstruction, that is relevant to the court.
Yep. Especially since during that hearing they said he wasn't doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And they had control of him.
And you literally had a lawyer have a written declaration that that's what was happening.
Yeah.
It's absolutely bonkers. Anyway, so then we got another document. And it's this one. So this is from Mark's office, or as I call him, Costco lawyer, because he was the one that was like, he buys in bulk. He went to Costco and got baby oil, This is the bulk. Because Costco. And then Costco had to be like, we don't even sell baby oil. Shut up. Anyway, so this short letter, and I'm like, oh, stop. Like, you guys get what I mean? Like, this is, I'm trying not to read between the lines here too much, but this is like, this feels shady. This feels shady and petty. There's petty here. This short letter is in response to the government's letter yesterday and updates the court on one issue discussed at Friday's conference. Following Friday's conference, the defense located blah, 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 got redacted. This is an important safety measure that better ensures the safety of Mr. Combs, the security detail, and others. So we have no idea what this is. This is black. But we've attached several photographs taken on November 25th, 2024, of the building. Blanked out, which I assume this would be like, this is where the building is. But yeah, we had pictures that have been blacked out, which is fine. I understand that. We don't need to like have where his location is going to be public knowledge. We don't need to dox anybody. A security professional is coming to the location on the morning of November 26th, yesterday, to assess the location, including the placing of cameras and other security measures. We have also spoken with pretrial services, which indicated that in the event Mr. Combs is granted release on conditions, it would want to inspect the location prior to Mr. Combs residing there. In regard to the concerns raised by the government, the stringent measures laid out in our bail proposal include, as the court will recall, that Mr. Combs will not have access to a cell phone. Rather, the cell phone will be in the exclusive possession of the security detail, which will keep a written log of all incoming and outgoing calls, texts, messages, etc. So, the guys that Diddy is going to hire to secure his location are the only ones who are going to have the phone? And here's my problem with that. How many of these stories that we've heard from alleged victims include security guards? That they've been involved in this or they've seen things, right? That gives me no comfort. None. Not a bit.
There's multiple lawsuits that implicate security guards.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. That's all I'm saying. Oh my gosh. Accordingly, all such communications will be maintained in both a written log and within the phone itself. Oh, so the phone's going to do the thing that the phone is meant to do in the first place, and you guys are just going to write it down? I have so much confidence in this. I can't. Without getting into the merits of the government's various allegations, these conditions address them all, while also ensuring, no, it doesn't, because the government has called up that they are concerned about the security that he would hire, but okay. While also ensuring that Mr. Combs has full access to his counsel to prepare for trial and defend the over 30 lawsuits in which he is a defendant. We thank the court for its time and attention it has devoted to our application. And there's the letter. So there's been a few other little things going back and forth. Nothing earth-shattering, to my knowledge. And now we sit and wait. Exactly, Jackie Swan. What about the victims who said the security guards stopped them from leaving Diddy's house? I don't know. I think it's a cause for concern, but that's just me. That is just me. So basically, that is what's going on when it comes to Diddy World. There's been a lot of other reporting about, victims being afraid of him getting out. The supposed what his menu will be for Thanksgiving in prison, but there really isn't much else at this time. I think we're all just kind of holding our breath. Not sure of where this is all going to go. And I don't know where it's all going to go. My hope has been, and this is something I have spoken to John Witherspoon about, is that the judge is doing his best to dot his I's and cross his T's and make sure that there is a written record of absolutely everything. So later on, they can't be like, oh, the judge didn't, listen to our argument about bail and it's been prejudicial since the beginning, so we want a mistrial. I feel like he's trying to, CYA, right? I don't know if that's what's happening. That is my hope, because I don't know how in good conscience as a judge you can let someone out on bail after their lawyer says to you, he's not using the things he shouldn't be using, we've got him under control, and then find out that 2 days later he violated again.
while waiting for you to make a decision.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't.
Like, I kind of look at it, and we've talked about this off stream, that it's similar to me as what we saw in the Alec Baldwin trial.
Yes.
That I'm guessing the judge had already made up their mind that that case was going to be tossed out with a mistrial with prejudice in the morning
Yeah.
of that Friday, but they let the prosecutor take the stand and basically like do herself in. So she had the knowledge and the proof that all of these criteria to have a mistrial with prejudice had been fulfilled. And she literally, when she announced it, went through all of the qualifications that
Yep.
were needed and cited all of the examples showing that these things had taken place. And how she got some of that was by letting it self destruct in front of her, essentially. And that way, no one could come back later and accuse her of anything nefarious or whatnot, because we saw it all happen in real time. And I wonder if that's what's happening here.
It's definitely a method. It is, it is definitely a course of action, and I hope that that's what it is. But I cannot tell you guys that there is no chance that he's not getting out.
Mm-hmm. I've got no proof of
We
that.
can't.
It's just a theory.
It is entirely possible that he's going to get out on bail. I am praying that that is not the case, but that's what's up. So that's why I'm saying right now, this is all just a mess. Everything just feels like a mess. Um, and I'm hoping that we get some clarity soon about what's going on. And I've also asked Jonathan, does he think if this is denied, if he's going to try for bail again? And he said that would be very difficult, essentially. So I am hoping that he won't get bail, and then this is going to be done, and he will be in prison through the trial, and that's that. Please, please. Now, we also don't know what's happening with this rumored second indictment. I don't know if it's coming, when it's coming, what's in it, who's implicated, but by the nature of the charges, and they keep referring to the enterprise, there's got to be other people that are going to get indicted.
And we know they've, like, there's been the stuff about them going to London.
Yep.
And still bringing in grand jury witnesses. Like, they're not done. It can't be if they're still doing all of these things.
No, and that was another thing too that was kind of established in the court hearings, that the investigation is still ongoing. Right? Mm-hmm. And they basically just said, you don't have, I think they said to his lawyers, like, you don't have the authority to demand that we tell you anything, essentially, because it's an active investigation. So we'll see. We will see. But as I said, I'm pretty sure at this point the court is not still currently, going this day before this holiday. And I'm guessing we probably won't know until next week. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. Yep. But that's my gut. And I don't know. Yes, Katie Artist, we'll need more red yarn. I'm debating on this Black Friday ordering some t-shirts. I kind of want to get the Elmo one with the flames. That gift that is appropriate for absolutely everything, as I say, as well as one of just the Pepe Sylvia, because I am feeling that in my soul currently. But with that is the update, and we are now in halftime. Now, I normally go into a halftime now where we just talk for a bit, then we go into a what the what, but I do need to end this show a bit earlier today, and I know producer sister has a what the what prepared, and I really want to do it, but it may be something, maybe we do another stream later on where we just have some fun. Mm-hmm. But I need to take care of myself, so that's that's what's up with that, and I hope you guys understand, especially considering the conversations we had earlier. So I'm going to stay here for a few minutes, and if you guys, this is normally when we would do like halftime and then what the what, and then after that we have what I call last call, and that's your last opportunity to ask me any questions, make any comments, send in any support, all that good stuff before we end today's stream, and I hope you guys are okay with that. So I do want to check in because I think there's been some stuff
There has.
that's come through. Um, For the record, Your Honor sent in a super chat saying, thankful for you and producer sister. Happy Thanksgiving. XO. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of my American viewers. Um, Appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great time with your families and have good food and just enjoy the break. And for those of you that are working on Black Friday, I give you the Hunger Games salute and I hope for the
Yep.
best for you guys. Oh my goodness. I remember those days. It sucks. Elisa, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I think I did thank you before, but I want to be sure. General Scott gifted another membership. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Mary became a space angel. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. Silky gifted 5 memberships. My goodness, you guys so generous. Thank you. Denise said, JLC hashtag trauma. Oh, yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis, trauma. Generational trauma. I too have not been on these Diddy streams, but I am here to say happy holidays. Okay, bye. Okay. Thank you, Denise. Much love to you. Cat Girl said, I wish I could send more after her super chat. I love you guys. My cat Boo Boo says, pause up. Please don't apologize. Thank you for even considering. Anything that you send is highly appreciated. Any like, any sub, any of that stuff, it all matters. And I appreciate all of it. Honestly, like I just appreciate all of it. But I think we are up to date.
Mhm.
And that's where we are. Let me see here. Yeah, exactly, sir. I'm so sorry for the guys that work on Black Friday. Oh gosh, Jennifer. I last time I worked Black Friday in retail in 2008, there was a stab at the store over literally nothing, and everyone was offered counts. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
No. God, can we just like be nice?
I have said it for a while now. The only way I will do Black Friday or at least or in Canada Boxing Day shopping is from the safety and security of my couch. Usually in my PJs because no.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh, people scare me.
Crystal R has been a member for 8 months. Happy Thanksgiving from Texas. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. I hope you have a great holiday. And I also wanted to say thank you so much to Alice, who sent me a PayPal. And I'm going to read your comment after because I'm looking at it right now and I'm starting to tear up and I don't want to cry anymore. So, and certainly not on camera. So thank you very much. I so appreciate that. That all helps me with a lot of expenses and stuff with the channel, also just my life. So thank you very much. And yes, General Scott, after the Black Friday shopping is done, a lot of people are going to have, are we ready, choir?
Insufficient funds. You ain't got no money. Ooh.
I love it. It's so good. Yeah, Kyle, Boxing Day sucks too. All right. Well, you guys got me for another 2 minutes or so. Anything else you guys want to say? Retro Americana said, I love you, Cam and producer sister. I hope we can get good news. Keep them in there. I hope so. I do. I really do.
I think we can also say on a more lighthearted note, Wicked was awesome and you should go see it. Other things that make us cry.
Honestly, I can't believe how much I just like. I teared up at the beginning because it was just like such a moment.
Oh, so the orchestra kicks in and you're like,
my
and
gosh.
I'm gone.
And then, I got through the film, and honestly, visually stunning. If you have not seen it, you need to go. It's so good, guys. Like seriously, it's so good. I was so happy, and and then it ended, and I just sat. And I cried for a good few minutes, and then we got out to the car, and I cried even more. But it was so funny when we were leaving the theater, because I literally turned around, and I just saw, like 5 little groups of, like, 2 or 3 people, and they were all, like, head in their hands crying. And I'm like, okay, all of the theater kids are here. We are all having our, like, our moment. It was so good.
And I am anxiously awaiting. They haven't released the score yet. Like, there's the main soundtrack, but the score hasn't been released on Spotify and that yet. For anyone else who's like a music nerd, grew up in band, all those kind of things, the amount that they weaved songs into the score, both from Act 1 and Act 2 of the foreshadowing, was amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Just gonna say that.
Sorry, I was gonna say, Deanie Rose said, Kim, can you give me the link to where to go buy Courtney Burgess's book? I requested it on Instagram. Take care. I know he has an Instagram account. You can probably find that has a link to it. I don't have it off the bat. I'm not sure what's all going on with that, but I think he has a link on his Instagram. Thank you for the super chat. I do really appreciate it. And what was I gonna say? Yes, I see you, Callum Williams, in the chat. As Natanya Rubin has said to a few people in her chat, I see you would like attention and you would like to be famous. And I see that you have accused me of being racist, essentially. Of why am I sitting here and trash talking Diddy? Do we need to play the Cassie video again? Because I don't know about you, but that's enough for me.
Has absolutely nothing to do with race.
Because if that's not if that's not enough for you to be like, maybe this dude is, bad news, watching literal domestic violence, that says a lot more about you than it does about me. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I am gonna say. You are welcome to be here as long as you are respectful and kind. But yeah, no thanks.
Yep.
No thanks on that. Not that mess. And I'm seeing some people requesting that we see Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
Lacey. Do you want to come say hello to everybody? Should we do the outro together? Lacey says hello. Oh, okay, Katie. No worries. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the yawn. Do you have anything else you want to say to everybody? Any burp today or just yawn? Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. Kyle, you're making me laugh. But yes, Lacey's good. Lacey's good. She has her next holiday collar on. I have so many for her now that I'm just changing them throughout the season because they're so sweet. It's like this really cute plaid. It's adorable. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, and a sneeze. That was a burp sneeze. Extra blessings. Thank you. All right. Good girl. Let's roll the outro. Thank you guys so much for being here. Much love to all of you. Please consider hitting that like button, subscribing, leaving a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. It makes a big difference in the algorithm for me, and it's free to do, and I very much appreciate it. Producer Sisters, anything you want to say before we take off?
Nope. Thanks for coming, guys.
All right, we're going to take off in the Great White North. We will talk to you guys later. Much love to you all. See you guys soon. Bye, guys.